Can't we do something, doctor? So the emotions, if our attraction to the right to life cause is only in emotions, then we're not going to get it. Because you'll emotionally like babies, and emotionally you're not going to like. I've been at many deathbeds as a hospice volunteer. Did I ever say it was fun? It's not fun. It's very rewarding. It has that bittersweet experience that, be honest, before World War II, every American had the experience of losing a loved one, and usually in the room upstairs. And the family could say goodbye, and the kids even come up and say goodbye. And it was never fun. Those emotions were powerful. You will never avoid them. But they understood the bittersweet nature of life and death. Today, the average American only sees bang, pow. That's death to them on television. In between shows about Michael Jackson and American Idol. They have no concept of the humanity and the spiritual nature of humanity and the parting of this earth. And they can't handle it. And their emotions control their decisions. And it's only the right to life that historically has protected those elderly from euthanasia. And it's been suspended. And you probably know that in Oregon and Washington, it is now legal to kill someone else, even though they're not actually dying. You know, someone's dying. You know, I speak English, you speak English, if you study English. If someone's dying, what happens? It's a verb. What happens? Very good, they die. You don't have to kill someone who's dying. They die. Euthanasia, assisted suicide, is designed for those who just aren't dying fast enough. God bless it. He's lingering. Shoot. It's designed for us. So many things to get into, folks. Educate, organize, motivate. If you don't do those things, then we're just a coterie of idea people. We are a salon here that just had lunch. I'm not trying to offend you, but that's what we are. The salon of ideas. If you don't do something about this, we will lose it all. And this nation will be a footnote to history. And it is, in fact, the richest and most gifted nation in history, and to lose it that way would be beyond tragic. You must educate, you must organize, you must motivate. As I said, that's what your enemies do right now. They're doing it at Berkeley. They're doing it now over Twitter. If you saw the article yesterday, that's how the Democrats plan to take back the House in 2012, is through Twitter. They're organizing, they're motivating, they understand how it works. I've got some petitions here that are available to you. What these petitions are on Planned Parenthood, by the way, many of you know what's been going on with Planned Parenthood and how a local girl made good by reviewing them. Very proud of Lila Rose.
My granddaughter.
Oh, outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah, I've taught Lila's a real sweetheart, very dynamic young woman. I want to prepare you for something, though, because we're involved in this, and I'm going back to D.C. next week. I'm on the board of National Right to Life. We've been doing this for a while, and politics is actually very, very practical. That's why I want to bring this back to the practice. You know that Planned Parenthood lost funding in the House because of the Pence Amendment. Mike Pence, great guy. It's going to the Senate. The odds in the Senate are dramatically reduced. Where does it go from there, students? The president. What do you know about this president?
He's not going to sign it.
That's right. He's not going to sign it. Yeah, go ahead and hand those out. Let me explain what these are and explain your part, because you're already touching on it. Somebody once said, all politics is local. It has great significance. Because if you think about it, the city council, no Larry's from the city council, took a shot at that, don't give up. But you can impact a city council member, a board of supervisor, more easily than you can impact your assembly member. And you can impact. Your assembly member is the easiest state legislator you can impact, because they only represent a few voters, and if you're one of them, they know that you'll go home, back to your church, back to your community group, and tell them, and you represent. First of all, you're a rarity because you care about policy. So they'll pay attention. Secondly, if you communicate with them, we've got lots of people like me, and we want to know what your decision is. And November is coming. That has dramatic impact to an assembly member. How much more so to a local representative, to a supervisor, to a city council member to a school board member. And so I want to affirm specifically, there's many things that were talked about today, but I want to specifically affirm the Cambrian Parents United Group. Is that the right name? Because that's wise. It's targeting. It's manageable. It's getting people involved in something. You know, you don't climb Everest tomorrow. Well, I think we'll go climb Mount Everest tomorrow. No, if you can't climb the local hill, don't talk to me about that stuff. Be a climber first. Try the Sierras then after that. Sierra's a great place to climb. Try Whitney. Whitney's great. After Whitney, Everest is still much more than that. All of us want Everest. All of us want to win back the presidency. All of us want to change this nation and restore the laws. If you aren't doing it locally, then you're not doing it. I hate to tell you that. If you're not organizing locally, you're not doing it. If you're not mobilizing locally. So those are three things you want to do. The reason, and you see that in that preface paragraph there, California is busted. There's no more money left. We are laying off literally every county, village, and hamlet is laying off protective workers, policemen, firemen, and then those who are supposed to be there in the community, teachers. And we hear from the unions, oh, don't lay off those people. You can't do that. And they're doing it anyways. Well, why on earth are we funding Planned Parenthood then?
Yeah, exactly.
What the heck's going on? If someone locally doesn't say that, it doesn't get said locally, folks. Do you know that? If you don't get that, a church, if you have one church's signature list going to one supervisor in that district saying, hey, my buddy Frank is a sheriff. In fact, this is what I love about this. It changes the dynamics. You're going to have union workers on your side. The reason I don't have time because we're going to have a few questions and get out of here. But you change the dynamic now because you understand. That union sheriff is saying, yeah, I want my pension, and yeah, why the heck are you giving to that Planned Parenthood thing? That's my money. Those people will work with you now, whereas typically the unions will work against you politically. We need to redefine the chessboard. You need to play the chess game. I have had many people who come to public policy, I know that game. I know that board. I can do this. It's checkers. No. There is, and this comes from learning and doing, this is a game of policy can be won if you put your hand to it. And so I want to encourage you to do that. That's just one example. The petitions here, and again, the reason I'm getting these out here, when Obama doesn't sign, when people feel defeated, don't feel defeated. Take it to them. Take it to your local supervisor. Why are you laying off sheriffs and giving this money to people who kill babies? And November's coming. They'll understand that. Do it nicely, though. That was a little bit sharp how I said it. My friends, we're in a battle of ideas, and if you aren't battling, we're not going to win. Go out there and get them. Thank you.
Can you explain more about it?
We've got time for one or two quick questions. Who's up first? Neil.
Do you have this in an electronic form?
Yes. And the other question I just had was also on this, too. This is an electronic form at the California ProLife Council website. If you see at the bottom right, you can see that, californiaprolife.org, or bottom left, too. Let me just quickly scan through this. This is an appeal to local government and state, not just Fed. Remember, the Pence Amendment had to do with federal funding. The more local you get, the more you're going to bring pressure on those people. By the way, you know this, Dianne Feinstein, particularly Barbara Boxer, the next people to say, they don't care what you say.
Yeah, they do.
So go to people who will care, and you'll scare the bejeebers out of them. Go to the locals, and you will scare them. So this is, and you see these whereases, read the whereases, because it points out what I just said, that organizations promoting and performing abortions, they making demands on public funds, and they're the first ones to say, you know, let's just keep the government out of this business, right? Yeah, well, we agree. Take the government money out of this right now. Let's agree with the pro-aborts even. Let's don't have the government involved. Because we're going to remember in November. And when they see that, you disagree with me? Not at all. And this man knows, by the way, when you do that, everybody who signs this petition, and there's some here, make sure they're registered to vote. And the reason, I hope I wasn't too harsh on you, but I go through lists in election time. We have identified pro-life households in California, and then we compare them to the voter file. If you want to cry about that. Christians who say they're pro-life, who support the pro-life cause, and they don't vote, and they're not registered to vote. I'm sorry. That's wrong. And part of it, and again, look, I'm a man of faith. I just don't get me wrong. But we cannot content ourselves in thinking that the pro-life sentiment is enough, that I'm pro-life when other people have pro-life sentiment. If that's the case, you know what? We've won. Do you know that polls show the majority of Americans are pro-life? So we've won. Let's go home. Foolish Galatians. Foolish Galatians. Yes. Thank you. If you will bring and execute, bring this to earth. Bring it to, put your hand to the plow. Get those people registered to vote. Get them organized and motivated, and make sure that they do what needs to be done at the right time. And we will win. 2012, I'll let you talk about 2012. We had a long conversation earlier. History is coming on you quickly. History itself is descending on you. We saw history change last November. Across the nation, a sea change. It stopped at our border. But this is what I see the potential. It will sweep through in 2012, and this nation will be renewed, if you're ready. And Larry will explain another time why that's true. The new maps, the new opportunity. I'll tell you this, the future belongs to those who are prepared for it. Please prepare. Prepare now. This work is easy if you do it. The yoke is easy, the burden light, but you still got to do it. Thank you, brother.
The best way to do that is if the pastors would have someone take charge of registering voters in the lobby for 2 Sundays in a row. I've done it. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
And say it from the, in front of the group to be sure
Right.
you're registered or you're not registered.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to get it.
One of the things that we do in the pastor prayer breakfast is we talk about the importance of putting legs to your faith, not just on the church's side of the curb, but on the street side of the curb, and getting out and getting involved in the community. Would you think that Brian might be a bit passionate about what he believes? You know, we're very fortunate to have you here today, Brian. Thank you so much. It's a great message. We appreciate you. We appreciate your work. And we're about to leave.